So in this Thin Lizzy Black Star Riders phase, you still were poking around with solo stuff because you got a record that came out in 2016 called Echo. Then Birmingham Tonight, that was the next year.
Big stuff right there, guys. The second Black Star Riders album, we had the incredible fortune to secure Nick Raskulinecz to produce, which was such a thrill for me before it even happened because I was a fan of Nick's records. I was a fan of Nick's performance in the Sound City documentary.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those of you who don't know, Nick started out as an engineer at Sound City, a second engineer, a runner, actually, at Sound City with Joe Barresi and some other good friends. And Nick developed his skills like most people did back then, and has now an incredible resume of artists that he's produced. And so now Nick didn't do the first Black Star Riders.
No, right? Kevin Shirley produced the first Black Star. Another legend.
Right,
yeah. But Nick wound up producing that second record, and so that was our first time to be together in the studio. And we just hit it off so great. You know, he's from the South as well. And
where's he from? I didn't realize.
He's from Knoxville.
Oh, is he really? Okay.
Yeah, Nick grew up in Knoxville, played in bands in Knoxville, went to L.A. with his band to get a record deal. That's how he wound up going to L.A., and he was just doing demos and recording things kind of on the side.
Was he a drummer?
Bass player.
Bass player.
Yeah. So our wives became friendly really before he and I started working together. And he crushed it, man. He did such a great job on The Killer Instinct was the name of the second Black Star Riders record. But we really forged that friendship. Shortly after that, he had a little downtime, and he called me and said, "Hey, man, do you have any songs?" And I said, "Yeah, I got some songs." And he said, "Well, come down."
It's starting to sound to me like the recording's never your idea.
Well, you know what? It wasn't until then. Like, that changed everything. I credit Nick greatly for what is now my fully focused solo career. And not just about making the records, guys. I mean, thinking like a solo artist, thinking like a writer, thinking like, okay,
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin, even though we had met and you knew some about my history, I wasn't doing the work, man. I wasn't rolling up my sleeves and sitting in that room, pad and paper, cup of coffee, guitar. Let's go to work. Let's write.
It is. You learn. It's a job. You can't wait for inspiration. You got to get up and go to work every day.
You just got to go swing that hammer, man. You have to go swing it. And so Nick, I'm so grateful to him, man. Working with Nick as well as being in a band with Ricky, because Ricky's a proper writer, as I said earlier. So Ricky and I were writing all these Black Star Rider songs together. We were writing other stuff that didn't necessarily fit the band, but songs that we liked. And I was just getting my chops back, So Nick took me in, and I brought some of my friends into play, and we made that Echo EP. And when I look back on that, man, I mean, one of those songs was an old Kelly Gray co-write, that never really found a home. Another one was a Marty Fredrickson song that had been sitting around forever. It wasn't like this was like,
it wasn't fresh and new.
Yeah, it was just some stuff I had laying around that I thought was great that Nick would have fun with, and so that got the ball rolling. And so when Black Star Riders wasn't on the road, I put a band together here in Nashville to be able to go out and play some solo shows and really properly work up the Brother Kane material, some of the new stuff, et cetera, et cetera. And then when I recorded that live album, Birmingham Tonight, Nick has an amazing engineer, Nathan Yarborough. Nathan mixed that record because Nick was tied up with Alice in Chains at that time. So, and that carried over really, guys, into the Memoirs of an Uprising because, you know, I played Nick those songs and he's like, man, these songs are great. I said, let's do it together. He goes, dude, I'm booked for a year. He goes, you should produce this record yourself. You can do it. We've worked together now on 3 records. He did another Black Star Riders album by then. So again, Nick really deserves a lot of credit for just my solo career, you know, from the standpoint of that I just feel like I wish I'd have felt like this, guys, when I was in Brother Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think
don't-
you have much more of a sense of confidence and
Like I
grounded.
belong here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not only do I belong behind that microphone, I want to be behind that microphone. I'm ready. I want to tell the stories. I want to write the songs. I want to be the boss. You know, I'm so grateful for my incredible rhythm section, Robbie Harrington and Jared Pope. They want me to show up with songs. And they, you know, there's none of that, hey, bro, I got some songs. Check these out, you know, from the band guys.
Yeah.
You know, that was another thing that was rough in Brother Kane. You know, it's like.
Nobody likes to hear their baby's ugly.
I should have been a better leader in Brother Kane, I guess is kind of my point.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the band would still
tough.
be together.
Maybe, but like we said, stuff changed. The industry changed. It was just a
Everything
different
changed,
thing.
man. Everything changed.